The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, Geek.Nerd.Tech, featuring a weekly roundup of tech news and gossip. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, Geek.Nerd.Tech.
First the Fat Boys break up.
Every day I wake up.
Somebody got a problem with Joe. Welcome to Geek.Nerd.Tech, the show we break down tech news and nerd culture from a black and brown geek perspective. As always, I am Joe Braswell, joined by my man Achilles Shine.
Shine's in the building.
How you doing?
I'm good, man.
You breaking up?
This song, man, I'm telling you, this song is dope. Still dope to this day.
It's like holds up, man.
Holds up.
It's from the Blueprint?
Yeah.
Yeah. Produced by Kanye West.
Classico, man.
Like, super classic.
Yeah, sorry.
Super classic.
How you doing on, man?
I'm good, man. Actually, this song's actually got me in a good mood. I'm glad.
Like, yeah, you ready to conquer the mountain,
I'm
right?
ready to get it. Like this one, this is cool.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into some stories here. We're going to talk about, Star Wars Battlefront came out, and this is November. I've been talking all year about I can't wait till November. I'm going to really start playing my games, and I haven't bought shit. But, everything just ran by me. Halo ran by me sitting there, Halo 5. Friggin' Call of Duty ran by me just sitting there. Star Wars Battlefront ran by me just sitting there. I'm a bad geek.
Hey, man, step it up, dog.
But the review, Fallout came out, so just things are happening around me. But let's get back, before we do that, let's talk about some tech news. One of the things that's been coming up is the idea of these smart accessories. We know about Apple's smartwatch. Samsung has a pretty dope smartwatch. I saw LG has a smartwatch now. Of course. But beyond the smartwatches, we're seeing something called smart rings.
Yeah, this is a story of straight ridiculousness.
I mean,
yeah, dog, hold on, let me take that call. Get out of here.
Like the Green Lantern or something.
Yo, bitch, answer my phone real quick. Pinky ring, like, come on, dog. This is going too far.
Wait, hold on. Keyless for you. Like, what? Yeah, I don't know. Well, so I want to preface this by saying, there is a smart ring that I saw that's more cosmetic, that is this sort of big piece of amethyst or something, and with your phone you can change the colors, so it's like an accessory. So a girl could have the yellow dress, she put on a yellow joint, she puts on a hat, she put a red joint, she had the club, the songs on. That exists. That's what I first thought this was, and I looked further. It's a full-blown joint.
It's a full-blown joint. I mean, for those of you that didn't quite grasp what we're talking about, essentially, it is like an Apple Watch on your ring. It's a pinky ring technology that controls that connects with your smartphone. I think is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know much more to say about this. I mean, is there any practical applications for this? I don't know that I would wear. First, I'm not a big ring guy anyway. But if I were a ring guy, I don't know. I don't know if Sammy Davis Jr. would rock this thing. I don't know who's rocking this.
I mean, I like that they're trying to figure out other ways to integrate technology on our body as wearables, but I think this is it's just stupid, man. Like, no one's gonna be like, hold on, I got a call.
Yeah, I don't know what the R&D or the creative for this was. Was it in the meeting? Was it like, I don't wear watches, but you get a ring though?
I mean, I get it. Like a lot. I mean, you use your hands for everything, so I mean, I can get the usefulness of it. But how's that different than actually using your smartphone with your fingers?
I mean, there is some futuristic elements to this. I mean, I think that when I was a kid, 70s and 80s, you think about Green Lantern, all the technology. There was a lot of technology that were watches or rings. That you have a ring projecting something onto the wall, like the ring doing. There's something to the ring. I just thought it was a fashion, it's just as a practical matter. First of all, the joint is big. It's not like a little
gaudy as hell.
Like
you walk in the spot with this.
Yeah, what's that? It's just
it's plastic.
I don't know. Anyway, so I'm sure the price point's not very.
Okay. Let me swing one to you though.
Yes.
Would you throw on a Google Glass or would you throw on the ring?
I mean, I would throw the Google Glass before the ring, but it's all ridiculous.
Man.
I mean, I don't know, and you wouldn't need all three, but can you imagine the cat that's got the Apple Watch, the ring, and the Google Glass, walking around?
That's just too much.
I don't know. Yeah, they're still working on Google Glass, right? Are they still trying to do like another version of that?
Yeah, at first it was dead on arrival, but then I think they resuscitated it. And I think it's still a program that they're still developing, but I don't think it's going to go under the moniker of Google Glass, and they're going to rebrand it. But yeah, it's still in development.
I think the technology's solid if we can figure out if you can incorporate some regular glasses, a la Mission Impossible or some shit where it's just glasses on and people can't tell. That's different. But having a big thing walking around with that big obnoxious thing is pretty obnoxious.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
man.
it's obnoxious. I mean, it reminds you of, and you still see this. It's just the initial Bluetooth technology with the folks, with the Bluetooth in the ear, which again seems super dope, but it's still obnoxious. To be walking around with the thing in your ear, just leave it in your ear, talking to the air. I mean, the Google Glass is not unlike that, but
I'm gonna propose to my girl and get her a smart ring.
Yes, it's gonna project. So read this, baby. It's like, will you marry me?
That was so retarded. Anyway,
it is ridiculous. Okay, something I think is like somewhat not dissimilarly ridiculous is there's this new case that's come on from Figment, which also gives you an iPhone VR viewer. So there's a lot of VR technology coming out. Obviously, we can't see it on the traditional phones yet. We're not there yet. So what this does is it offers a case where you flip it, and these equivalent of like glasses come out.
Yeah.
So you can like put your thing up too, which is equally goofy to me. Like, hold on, flip, and be like,
yeah, that's pretty much.
Pretty
bit much.
It's good in theory, but what do you think of this?
I mean, I definitely think that as we venture towards more technology that is consumer based for virtual reality, I think it'll be good. But the design of this one, I think it's kind of whack. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't foresee people using that in that way. Like, I think it's not user friendly. Like, I don't see you holding your smartphone that close to your face. Like, unless what you're seeing through those glasses is like incredible,
right.
Like it's really immersive. I don't see that. I don't see people adopting that. Like, but I get it. It's just another step forward to acclimate people or get people more comfortable with using the technology. But I mean, step up the design aspect of it. Like, I do like the fact that it the usefulness of it, that it's dual purpose, that it could be used as a case and also as the virtual reality.
Man, that's kind of a smart
headwear,
move.
but I don't know. Like, it doesn't look cool,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that the smart move is to be able to have that as a.
But maybe not virtual reality, maybe like augmented reality. It's more useful because maybe like you're walking in a store or you're on a street and then you pop up the glasses and you're able to see something that maybe someone else can't see without them, versus like watching a film or a commercial virtual reality or whatever. Like, maybe like the augmented aspect of it might be useful while you're like using your mobile device out in the field. Like, I think that might play a bit better, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree. I just it's just a little this is not right for me. I mean, it's a little cumbersome. I just sort of want to wait. I don't know that I will use it. If I don't know that, I feel like when the VR content gets to the point where it's that ubiquitous, I would like to hope that there has another thing you could do besides pull out your glasses on your phone. Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah, hold on. Let me floop, floop. It's just not. But, I'm not discounting the idea. Moving on, the streaming business just got a little more interesting and a little bigger here. And I'm really starting to wonder about, like, is there enough room for all of these folks? It's not unlike what's happening in television right now with streaming in television with Netflix versus Hulu versus Amazon versus everyone else, but Apple, everyone's in the game. So on the music streaming business, we have Spotify, which did a really good job. They do $1 billion in annual revenue. Then Apple Music just came on the scene, which I've left Spotify completely, and I'm all Apple Music, and that's doing well. And then
I don't know if Spotify's doing well.
No. I'm talking about Apple Music is doing well.
Okay.
Spotify's at $1 billion annual revenues. I mean, among other people, left Spotify to go to Apple Music, and I love Apple Music.
Right.
But now Pandora, who has just a lot of loyal users, Pandora acquired RDIO or Radio, and it declares all this tech, all this top line executives and are going to incorporate that into what they already have to make their own streaming service.
Right.
This is interesting because Pandora, people still to this day, Pandora has a really strong user base, a really strong name. I mean, people like offices use it. Everyone just uses Pandora a lot, and it's because it was one of the first ones to do this.
Right.
So now if Pandora says good news, we do this now. I feel like that could be a game changer, more than Spotify. I don't know.
Sure.
So what do you think of this?
I mean, I feel with the streaming business and industry, I think we're standing at the intersection of the blending of radio, traditional radio, the actual streaming of music, and also live performance. All being able to use that in your interface on your mobile phone, on your tablet. And so I think there's a race to dominate in that area. Like obviously with Apple Music, you have the radio functionality. You're able still to buy songs on iTunes. You're able to do the traditional streaming stuff. Spotify, the same thing. And so I think with Pandora buying radios, like they're building in this traditional radio element into their streaming element, and I think that's smart. However, what has not been solved is how artists are compensated for their money. Like when you talk about Spotify raking $1 billion of revenue, like 70% of that is going to record companies and publishers, and very little of that is trickling down to the actual artist. So so Spotify's making 30% of that billion, but is that profitability? I don't think they're profitable. And what they actually said this week is they're going to start to release their numbers so that I guess people can have more transparency in terms of what money is being made. But I think that's what needs to be solved. Like how do we still create value for music, because it's so saturated, it's so easily accessible. Like how does someone make a living off of it? Yeah. I think that's what needs to be solved.
Yeah, I agree. It's still working. I mean, artists like Adele's album just dropped last night at midnight, and I was all excited, and it wasn't on Apple Music because she's not streaming on Apple Music or Spotify. So I had to buy that joint. Word. The first album that you bought.
But an artist like that, I mean, she's positioning herself well to create that demand. Like, she doesn't have to do that.
I bought it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, oh, and it's not here. Like, it was interesting to say. Like, I mean, what makes you wonder if you really want the artist, like the Adeles, the Beyoncés, or the Kanyes, if their album's not anywhere to get it,
you'll grab it.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's kind of proved that. It's kind of a boss move to be like, I ain't doing that shit, which is what Adele says, and it kind of worked for her.
Right.
Pretty savvy at 25 years old. Good album, by the way.
I have a question for you. I'm just interested. Like when you look at all these streaming companies, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, and the list goes on and on. Tidal, like how, like at the person that you are, how, like, what do you see from each one that, like, what speaks to you to choose one? Like, what makes you say, I'm going to choose Apple just because you have the iPhone, the laptop? Like, what makes you choose that over Spotify or Spotify over Tidal or whatever?
Well, for me personally, it's for sort of ease of use, from functionality and access to material. Those are like the three things. Like, that's why I was able to sort of easily go from Spotify to Apple Music. Spotify was fantastic. In the world where it was Beats Music and Spotify and Apple, I mean, and Spotify, I was like, well, it's all about Spotify over Beats Music. I didn't go over to Beats Music, but once Beats Music integrated with Apple to make Apple Music, what they were doing not only is the exact same thing from an availability standpoint, but then they have all this other content that I love, the Zane Lowe and Juliana Nuga and all these other people that I love, and then they were adding shows from Mary J. Blige and Disclosure and Run the Jewels and everyone doing these shows, Drake. So that's content. Like, I want all that content. I want to hear what they're listening to and hear that stuff. It's just a brilliant way to do it. So original content's a big piece of it, and ease of use. And of course, it's Apple, so it integrates seamlessly into my whole existing ecosystem. Right. For most people, it's brand recognition. So we go back to that. What I keep saying is, Pandora. I've never been a Pandora guy. I've never really been a Pandora user. I'm aware of it. I have the app on my phone. I never use it like people use it. But it was surprising for me to find out that Pandora has Pandora is way is bigger than Spotify. I mean, about the same. Pandora has about 78 million users, and Spotify has 75 million users. And that was a little shocking to me, because I thought when Spotify jumped on the scene, they grew so rapidly as this big service. I was surprised to find out how many people still don't know about or use Spotify.
Right.
And they do now, but still don't know about it or use it.
Right.
And still don't know about to use Apple Music. Like, it's really interesting what small percentage of that people actually use those services. The last thing I'll say about this is, what's interesting is this whole title thing is, that Jay-Z is taking a whole tack they're really doing a sort of a ground up reshaping by doing these specialized content. They're really going heavy on the content side in terms of what, even live concerts, and also like other things and videos and music and exclusive content and sharing with other artists. They're really trying to build something from the ground up. And I think the thought was like, they're going to come in and make a big splash and compete with Apple Music and Spotify, whereas maybe they thought that, but they've kind of changed their business model in a smart way, and it's kind of like that slower grind. But I'm not counting them out in the long haul for what they may do.
I mean, with no disrespect to Jay-Z, I would wish that he was in wish that he would be a forerunner in the race of the streaming business, but I definitely am counting them out. Why? Because they don't have the financial backing that a company like Apple does. Like, Apple doesn't need to make money off their music streaming service. It's just a way for people to buy more phones and buy more computers and et cetera, et cetera. So like, I feel like Apple will always dominate in that business because they have more money to burn.
Yeah, they're not operating as a business. They're operating as a marketing tool.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I mean, that gives you a lot more flexibility if you this is in your marketing budget as opposed to like this is your sole business that you need to make money off of.
Right.
So interesting. All right, so let's move on. So I want to talk about this the hacker collective, called Anonymous. You may or may not know about these folks. They're a collective of hackers who are, sort of well known for doing a bunch of hacky stuff. Well, they have this. They've come together to do something. Look, Anonymous has never been like a group of bad people. They're just a group of hackers who do shit and who are. Who do everything from expose like inefficiencies or security risks to like do stuff for the sake of doing it. But what they're doing now is they have this crazy cyberware that they've done, this whole war against ISIS that they've done, and because of it, over 900 Twitter accounts have been banned. I don't know. This is cool, right?
I mean, yeah, like I think the story is more so, the argument is like, hey, these hackers are, counteracting terrorism essentially, but leave that to government agencies to do. And so, like, that's kind of why this is a story, is because government agencies are arguing like, hey, this is what we're supposed to be doing. Like, don't get involved with this. You're messing stuff up. Like, we know what we're doing. Like, and like Anonymous or other hacking organizations, like, yo, we're smarter than you. Right. Like, we're faster than you. We have way more. We're positioned to do way more and make it louder. Like, and maybe the government agencies have other ulterior motives. Us is just to provide transparency for society, and also to prevent, terrorism internationally. So I feel like that's the argument, and it's interesting that just some like an organization that doesn't have the $1 billion infrastructure of like a United States government agency is able to do the same exact thing and bring it to people's attention in a very like just plain way. Like, I think that's pretty amazing actually. Like, but whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. I think that this is just we talked a couple weeks ago about the idea of what the internet does in terms of activism, and this is definitely a power to the people situation. And yeah, I've got nothing bad to say about it. I want to move on to this little new gadget called a Pyro Mini. It's only $150, and basically it literally lets you shoot fireballs out of your hands, like you're Johnny Flame or something, Johnny Torch. And the thing about it is now it's created for mostly like illusionists and magicians, and the sleeves, and they like whoosh, and then fireballs come up, and it's a whole bit of the theatrics. But I mean, for $150, it's kind of James Bond. It's kind of like a weapon. I mean, it's little things that go on your wrist, like web shooters. Like, it's like the coolest thing I've ever seen, but it's like kind of concerning for $150, right? I mean, like,
thank you.
I mean, first of all,
this is gimmicky than anything we taled about.
First of all, I'm not strapping it to my wrist. It malfunctions, explodes,
blow your arm off,
blam, or whatever. Like, $150 for the technology is not enough when it's loaded with fire. Like, you shoot a fucking 6 foot fireball at somebody out of your wrist.
That's kind of crazy.
What has to happen?
Hey,
I don't know. It's very cool. There's a cool video on it. It's called Pyro Mini if you want to check it out. It's a cool YouTube video talking about it and seeing it. The device is really small. It just really makes me wonder about the other applications besides an illusionist.
Of course.
I don't
You could
know.
definitely weaponize that somehow, some way.
I mean, some of these things are like this one. I mean, like look at this one photo. This guy's like, raw. Like that's like. I mean, I guess it's good for like a bar fight or something.
That's like a
don't mess with me, dog.
full-on flamethrower right
Yeah,
there.
that's me down.
What you say?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay, I'm kind of good too. It's interesting though. All right, Google Play. They're coming to your LG Smart TV. So Google's making a deal with LG to sort of integrate, what their Google Play is, as opposed to their little mini things, to integrate it right into all LG televisions. I mean, this is sort of, I'm assuming this is in anticipation of what Apple's next move is beyond the Apple TV platform.
Good luck.
And integrating, and Apple's going to clearly has a new Apple TV, which is dope. Apple's clearly moving to a model where they're going to either partner up with Samsung or not Samsung, partner up with someone, or come out with their own device. So Google's trying to get ahead. So Google's trying to get ahead of that and go, we got LG.
Hey, we got LG.
So
Good for them.
and they're probably not going to get Samsung. I imagine Apple isn't, because they're such competitors.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, who
else is there? Sony.
Apple and Sony, Sony has their own consumer electronics division, which competes directly with the Sony Vios computers.
Maybe it's Hisense.
Hisense, maybe.
I definitely see this as a good move for Google to be able to integrate the technology into the television, and to, I guess, be innovative in that sense because of where we're going in terms of the transmutation of television. So I think that, to be able to supply consumers with this infrastructure as it builds, as it grows, I think is smart. I don't know though. I'm not gonna buy an LG TV because of this.
No.
So
in fact, I'm probably more likely to not buy an LG TV because I'm such an Apple loyalist.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to have all that junk in there. I'm good.
Right.
So
hey, we'll see. I mean, we always talk about this offline and online, just the future of television and just what's happening in terms of now we're gonna have all this app technology in the television, and who's going to dominate in this space, kind of like we were talking about with the streaming business with Spotify, Apple Beats, Pandora, et cetera, et cetera. I have more interest in the television conversation, because I think that is, television as a medium started in this country, and how the global effects of television and what it's done for popular culture, what it's done for education, what it's done just for entertainment, catharsis, all of it, how it's just forming into something completely what am I trying to say? Customizable. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder, 5 years from now, what is it going to be like? You know what I'm saying? Right. I think it's just an interesting thing. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. I kind of wonder, and Google's moves. Google makes very few wrong moves, and they've definitely got their eyes on the larger. They've definitely got a 5-year and a 10-year plan. So, and they're at the forefront. It's like Apple is knowing what's out before we know, what's coming. Technology wise, consumer electronic wise, and so it's all. This is just every time I see one of these announcements, I just think to myself, this is a puzzle piece to a larger puzzle we don't know we can't see yet. Yeah. They see step 1, integrate with LG. Step 2, take over the world. We don't know.
We forgot to mention the YouTube Red. Obviously, YouTube's owned by Google. They're already building that infrastructure along within the actual device. So maybe we are seeing
these are all chess moves.
Exactly.
They see the whole chessboard. We don't.
Right.
So that's just Google did this, Google did that.
Right.
Speaking of what Google did, speaking of the chessboard, this really snuck up on me. Google Chrome as an operating system, which I do not like. I actually used it for a little bit, and I was like, I'm a stupid Safari loyalist. Lola, our Lola who works for this, is a Chrome loyalist. But Chrome for Android and iOS jumped 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
From 400 million users to 800 million users in a year.
1 year.
And I thought, literally, if you asked me about Chrome in 2014, I'd be like, Chrome is dead.
Yeah, but you gotta put the additional statement on mobile devices.
Well, exactly.
That was the jump. Well, most of the jump was on mobile devices, which is very interesting. And especially interesting on iOS devices, because Google and Apple aren't really in bed with each other that. So
people love Chrome, apparently.
Right.
And also, what they've done with Chrome has a lot of cool little things that you can do. If you're a Chrome user, you can do a lot more things and get access to a lot more things, especially internationally, than you could if you have any other browsers. So there's a lot of things that Chrome is more open source as a browser than Safari is. So I get why people want to use it, and they have a bunch of cool little widgets that people use. And I don't know. I mean, should I revisit Chrome? Have you fucked with Chrome?
You know, I think it's definitely worth a revisit, and just to juxtapose Safari. And I think like a lot of people argue that, you know, the search or the time invested on internet browsers has been lessened because of apps. Like, this is an argument that suggests the opposite. Like, people are still, especially on mobile, still when they look up stuff, they're going through, you know, like Safari or Firefox or Chrome on their mobile versus going through an app. So it suggests that, hey, Chrome is popping. If that we have such a major increase like that, like I definitely would entertain it or download it and see what it's about. Right. It must be very user friendly, or must offer something that for them to have that type of jump.
Well, like I said, I mean, like, I literally, if you talk to me in 2014 and ask me about Chrome, right now, I'd be like, Chrome is dead. Chrome's dead across platforms. And then in 2015, it's like doubled. And the interesting thing about the whole notion of these of mobile users is, you know, I mean, we kind of touch on this a lot when we talk about Facebook and how they're killing it in mobile game. You know, mobile is everything. Like, phones and iPads are everything. There was just a conversation with my former boss, Bill Simmons, was talking to Chuck Close Friends about this, but he's talking about the fact how when they created Grantland for ESPN, Grantland, as great as it was, when they made it in 2011, they made the whole platform for desktops and laptops. Like, in their head, like, everyone's going to read this on their desktop and their laptops. They did not see iPhones coming, mobile devices coming. They didn't see that, like, and then the following years, 50% of their users were trying to read it on iPhones. 50% of their users, and they weren't ready for that. Yeah. They didn't have an app. They didn't have anything. They couldn't pivot right. And so the point is that, like, almost overnight, like, we saw the way people consume their media is different. Like, people are still trying to catch up from the fact that we're not watching TV anymore. We're watching it on our laptops and our desktop. We're not getting newspapers anymore. We're reading magazines. We're reading on our desktop and stuff. But now, before they can even catch up to that, it's all mobile.
Yeah, it's all mobile.
You know, so that's really interesting.
And then once people start to catch up to the mobile, it's going to be virtual reality. It's not going to be
on a ring, dog.
Anything. Exactly.
But yeah, when people start catching up on, like, okay, we gotta pivot to mobile, and then it'll be, you know, the next thing. But this is really interesting. Speaking of interesting, I want to remind you guys, our good friends at DraftKings we're still kicking over here at DraftKings. For all you fantasy football heads like myself, who play fantasy football over a 16-week period, you don't have to do that anymore with DraftKings. DraftKings allows you to play one-on-one fantasy fantasy every single week. You can go to DraftKings.com and check it out. It's the same old fantasy with a different twist. And the big news about DraftKings is they make a brand new millionaire every single week. If you love football, you should jump into this life-changing payday. So how it works is you log on to DraftKings, you can use a promo code GEEK for a free shot at $1 million in this week's Millionaire Matchmaker event. They're giving away literally $1 million every single week. You enter GEEK for a free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com. Check it out. If you love fantasy football, if you love $1 million, you should check this out.
Get your millions up.
Get your millions up. Okay, cool. So moving on, we have So Microsoft is unleashing sci-fi stories with Future Visions. So Future Visions is like a collection of sort of sci-fi things that basically Microsoft is getting into the storytelling business. I think I don't know if this is just a content play. I don't know if this is a play to provoke thought about science and science fiction or comedy or comics, but I mean, it's something.
I mean, I think it's like The Martian, you know. I mean, it started as an ebook, you know.
Yes.
And it was developed into, you know, then it was developed into a book and then to a screenplay and then obviously into a movie. And I think, I mean, when you look at that movie, when you walk away from that movie, that's exactly what it is, like, to make you fall in love with science and technology and STEM, all the STEM programs, to be able to want to, you know, use your imagination so that you can propel new technologies and new discoveries. And so I think this is their play, like, to be on the frontier of developing some of the hottest technology in the course of the last 30 years, like to now give access to these really creative writers and thinkers and bring them to their facility to see some of the things that they're developing, and then to have them walk away and create some science fiction story behind it, and then some kid will read that, and that propels even more innovation and more imagination to develop the next futurist idea. So I think that's kind of like what they're trying to do and promote, which I think is awesome. And I think more than ever, or maybe not more than ever, but I think more than ever in my lifetime, I think people are way more interested in space and science and being inventive and entrepreneurial. So I think it's dope.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's kind of a new way to do it. You can kill a lot of birds with one stone by like giving back and inspiring people to come up and create something creative, because what comes out of that is science and content, and it makes it both. So I like that. You know what I don't like, and I got mad for the first time in a long time about some media shit. You know, when I was in my 20s, I got mad a lot about stuff. I got really mad. I was like, rah! But, you know, once I got to my 30s, I was kind of like, you know what? Life is what it is. And back in my 40s, I'm mad again. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe it's a gray beard.
The mad rapper?
Did you see? Yeah, the mad rapper. I forgot how that skit goes. This is the mad rapper. What? I forgot. I was about to do the skit, but I can't get the voice right. Anyway, I can't think of one.
I'm sorry, I derailed you.
No, because I'm not thinking mad rapper. Okay, that's from Biggie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen the trailer for The Gods of Egypt?
I certainly have, and it is terrible. I think it's whatever you take.
Well, just for those you don't know, there's a new movie coming out in February, which probably means it's crap. But a new movie coming out, like sort of like a 300 style heavy CG mixed with
Exodus,
thing, like kind of like an Exodus, but mostly like a 300. It stars Gerard Butler, who was also in 300, and a couple other white dudes. Gerard Butler, and it is called The Gods of Egypt, and it's this Clash of the Titans style mythic fantasy epic, which, looks like it's got some amazing visual effects, and who knows what the story is like. Two problems.
Well, some major problems.
It's called Gods of Egypt, presumably set in Egypt, and I don't know what mythology they're basing this on. I don't know what ancient Egyptian mythology they're based this on, but forget that. The gods of Egypt are all white, and the protagonist in the movie is this wispy blonde English kid. Everyone in the trailer is speaking with an English accent. The lead is just the whitest. He looks like Liam from One Direction, and he's and last time I checked, I'm no geographical expert. Last time I checked, Egypt was in Africa. And I don't know too many blonde people. I don't know too many white people that are in Egypt. The trailer was devoid of one single black face. I take that back. There was one black dude who they probably threw in the trailer who kind of looked up, like as an extra, as one of the people in Egypt. But Egypt is white. The gods are white. Everything is white. What the fuck is going on, Achilles Shine?
This is classic revisionism, man. This is brainwashing and programming at its finest. Like, and the course of Egyptology and just African history, Egypt has always been stolen from African people, and so it's always been made to look white historically. And you could check your facts on that. Like, and so I feel even in Hollywood, we've always seen this type of whitewashing of Egypt. Like,
people love the mythology of Egypt and love the pyramids, but they don't want to associate it with black people.
Of course.
Oh, that's not black. That's not Africa.
Like you said, yeah. Egypt clearly is in Africa, and clearly the people of that area are dark-skinned people. Clearly, that should be represented in the movie. Like, so you have to ask yourself, why is it not? Like, why would they take this position? Like, who is this movie for? And like, it's kind of blasphemous. Like,
it's like ridiculous.
That's I mean, like, you would not do this with any other culture. Why would you do that with this culture?
I've seen a lot of cynical things I'm of Hollywood. We're both kind of Hollywood, but I've seen a lot of cynical things, especially in the film industry in Hollywood. But this is probably the most cynical thing I've seen in the modern era of television. This is the most cynical thing I've seen since the 70s. It is really ridiculous. I mean, it blows my mind how this movie can get greenlit, cast, and shot, and released in 2016. It blows my mind. This is we're not talking about a recasting, we're talking about some original IP. Like, we're not talking about the Black Annie. We're not talking about the Black Steel Magnolias where you'd have some original IP, and we're going to recast it as black. We're going to talk about 21, the famous book movie 21. Basically, all the people who did that blackjack thing, they were all Asian, but in the movie they were all a bunch of white kids. You know, because I get it. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a brand new original story. Someone says, "Hey, I know. Let's do a story about Egypt. We'll make it a great epic. We'll make it like the 300." But one problem. Egypt's all black people. What are we gonna do about that? I know. We'll cast it full of white people.
And not just that. I get the argument that they're taking a mythology of ancient Egypt and creating a commercialized expression of it. But even like that's like
I don't get that argument.
That's a bastardization of the mythology, because like even from what I can see from the trailer and what I've read about the movie, like they're taking something that's very sacred and spiritual and they're turning it and poisoning it essentially and putting these different narratives and angles and twists that have nothing to do with Egyptian culture. And I think that's what I talk about. It's revisionism. Like you're not projecting the people as they once looked, and you're not expressing the culture as it once was. Yeah. So like, what is this? Like, would you do that? Would you do that with any point of American history? Maybe you would. Like we've seen it happen before. We've seen it happen before when there's a cover up, or when you're trying to take some credit from something take credit for something that's not yours. So.
I mean, but they're trying to treat Egyptian, like I said, this stuff is very sacred. They're trying to treat like it's like Norse mythology, like it's like Thor and Zeus and all that. It's really not the same. There's not really apples and apples here. You know, we talk about like all that stuff. Like it really drives me nuts. In a way that's crazy. I think it's just, you know, reprehensible on all levels, and that you got greenlit.
I will not be going to see that movie.
At all checkpoints, I mean, this is my last rant. At no checkpoint did someone say this is a bad idea.
I'm sure they did.
Like when you pitch the movie, and what about this? Wouldn't it be a really cool idea? Like the pitch I would have, do this exact same movie and have an all-black cast, exact same effects, exact same everything.
Especially after the heels of Exodus and all the commentary and all the criticism that was communicated off that movie, how there was no black representation in that movie. You would still go
Joel Edgerton and freaking Christian Bale, like roar Moses, like what the fuck?
And you would go and recreate a movie that has no black people and it's Egypt.
Oh God! All right, Moses and Ramses. All right, everybody knows they were white.
Exactly.
In English,
they're gonna make a movie about Harriet Tubman. She's gonna be a blonde.
I don't gonna be a blonde with an English accent. Hello, I'm Harriet Tubman. Let's go. Let's get out of here. I have the path to freedom. No, that's hilarious. Like, what is ridiculous? Yeah, Meryl Streep as Harriet Tubman. Now, she can pull it out, though. She's a good actress. But it's ridiculous. Okay, so we got to get out of here. But I do want to touch on last thing. Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront finally made its debut. The reviews are very mixed on Battlefront. Everyone says that it looks amazing. It feels amazing. But what we're getting back from is their mixed reviews on the actual gameplay. Like people are saying it's a little repetitive. Once you get up in there,
people are saying it's boring.
Yeah, once you get up in there, you start shooting around. Once you like stop, you're all like, I'm in Star Wars. That's a snow speeder. This is on Hoth. The sounds are great, and then you're like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm over it. There are good reviews on the multiplayer, though, right?
Yeah, the multiplayer is, but yeah, that's the thing. But it's like hard, like in story mode, you know, that's what you want. Like I've always been a story mode guy. I haven't really been a multiplayer guy except for Halo. This is mainly because I always get my ass whooped in multiplayer. I just can't. I just do not dedicate the hours that kids do. Right. So I just, no matter how good I think I am, I'm gonna get smoked. I get smoked every multiplayer I do, and it's not fun. But so I like the story mode, and I like the idea of the immersiveness of story mode. You know, so I don't know, man. I'm still gonna cop it. I'm still gonna get it.
Hey, man, grab it. I love what they're doing with the IP of Star Wars and taking maybe like a scene from a movie and then creating this whole gaming universe off a scene or off a certain maybe like storyline. I think that's really cool. And I mean, to be able to play a game of your favorite character or of a favorite scene in the Star Wars franchise, I think is dope. So I'm interested to see what other games will develop in the future after Star Wars releases and the whole circus of that, you know, continues to increase, and what Disney does with that whole franchise. So.
Yeah, we know that when there's a lot. The merchandising is high right now. The merchandise is on point. I mean, like,
they're killing it.
I saw Kate Jewelers got the Star Wars charms.
Man.
Like, I see, like, literally just everywhere you go, like stuff that place you would not expect Star Wars crossover to be.
That's crazy.
In like mainstream.
This
like,
movie better be
Star
good,
Wars
man.
toilet paper.
This
Sherman.
movie better be good, bro.
You want the light side or the dark side of your toilet paper? Like, you know, like it's everywhere. So I think the movie's good. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen anything like this in terms of just the selling of Star Wars, the marketing of Star Wars, and how, you know, the multi-generational, because you have Gen Xers and to a certain extent some late baby boomers, but late baby boomers and Gen Xers who are still buying shit. They're buying they'll buy the Star Wars, the new Star Wars Ford, all the way down to the Star Wars toilet paper. But then you have the millennials who will buy whatever the Star Wars
you
shit.
got the kids.
Yeah, the kids will buy all the Star Wars toys. We're all buying it. Everybody loves Star Wars.
That's bananas.
So it's really some interesting opportunities to in branding. I wonder if Lucas still makes the same level of money on the branding that he did back in the day. He very famously cut that deal for Empire Strikes Back or Star Wars, one of them, that you know, he will waive his director fee and waive all these fees in exchange for the licensing and marketing rights. And back then, people were like, "You're crazy. Who cares? Take it. That's no money in that." That's one of those. Yeah, that's the joy. That's one of those things that will never happen again. There's a few of those out in the industry. So, but I wonder if he's still collecting dollars on the PlayStation Star Wars thing. I wonder if he's still collecting licensing.
I like to see that total number of all things Star Wars related, like, after this movie drops, after the game circulated for a year, like, or whatever, merchandise, all that stuff, like what that total number would be. Like, you
gotta think, like, you know, that just sight unseen, like in my own rough calculations, given all, if you could go from 1977, all that merchandise from 77 to 80, all the merchandise from 80 to 82, Empire Strikes Back, all the Return of the Jedi merchandise from 82 to present day, or 82 to 2000.
It still wouldn't match up to Mark Zuckerberg's wallet.
No, I'm just saying, but see, all that merchandise for then, and then you have additional merchandise for the last three movies, and everything else that's come Star Wars, which is ubiquitous. You have roughly 32 years of Star Wars
banking,
you know, money
stacking.
Like, well, my point is, you have that, but then you have this latest push. Man. I feel like the stats are going to bore out that this latest push, this 2000,
it's probably going to equal everything up until
exactly. This 2014 to 16 push of merchandise will probably equal the last 40 or exceed the last 42 years. That's ridiculous. Just because it's ubiquitous. That's what I'm thinking, and which makes me wonder about George Lucas. George Lucas got to be a billionaire off all that merchandising for the last 32 years. Is he going to triple his money in 2 years?
Of course.
And on one film, he still got fucking 6 films to go.
He will.
Woo. I don't know. We need to create some fresh IP.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what that IP is. Exactly. You know, Geek Nerd something. I don't know what it is. we need some IP. All right, guys. I think that's all we got. That's all we got for this week on Geek.Nerd.Tech. Anything else you want to throw in last minute?
Nah, man. We over here doing it, baby. We over here doing it.
You gonna check out you gonna check out the Hunger Games today?
I sure am. Well, maybe not today. Maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
You?
Yeah, I'm gonna peep it out. That's one of those weird things. Just slipped off my mind. I was really excited about it, and then it just like the video games. I'm like, oh shit, that's today.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's another one dropping too. It's another movie that's
Legend. The Tom Hardy twin movie.
Yeah. I thought there was one more that was like really like we haven't talked about. This
I think
stuff,
it's next week, but I'm checking Rotten Tomatoes right now. It's just the Hunger Games, but next week is Creed.
Yeah, that's it. Creed.
And the Good Dinosaur, the Creed and the Good Dinosaur. Those are your Thanksgiving movies.
Yeah, we should cover Creed. We should cover that. Give our bro some uplift.
I love Michael B, man.
Exactly.
Michael B and our boy Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
You know. And our boy Sly Stallone. Yo. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Keely, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Akili Shine, AKILISHINE. And where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope at Joe K. Braswell. We will talk to you very soon. Thank you for listening.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.